Thank you. I have one word only. I advise to the representative of the United States to be polite. It will be better for yourself and the country you represent. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Use of force is unacceptable. China calls on all parties to fulfill their obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law, effectively ensure the safety of civilians and avoid attacks on civilian facilities. The use of force is not the right way to settle international disputes. It only intensifies hatred and confrontation. The escalation and spillover of tensions in the Middle East serves no one's interests. Dialogue and negotiations are the only way to
Wow, China is going to support Iran direct. You may ask yourself why China is going to support Iran direct. What right now US is doing? US is cutting supply of oil to China. US is fighting China, not with escalation or with live bullet or attacking, but US is fighting China strategically. You know, Venezuela is one of the many producers of oil, and under the leadership of Maduro was selling oil to China. Maduro rejected to sell oil to US. So to understand what I'm saying, recently US has accused China for supporting terrorist groups in Nigeria. Can you believe that? The Chinese are sponsoring and supporting terrorist groups in northern Nigeria? Before, US accused Iran that Iran is supporting terrorist groups. Of course, if you heard the speech of Trump, you understand that Trump has accused Iran that Iran's regime of Khamenei supported and supplying weapons to Houthi and other terrorist groups across the entire world. Today, US is saying China is supporting terrorist groups in Nigeria. Now you can understand, US is creating narratives about China, that you China, you're supporting terrorist group in Nigeria. So US is withdrawing China from the hearts of Africans. The way they created narratives about Russia, that Russia Wagner is supporting terrorist group, Russia Wagner doing that and that. You remember those narratives. But no one is talking about these Western countries. No one is talking about those Western countries. While we know very well what are they doing. We know very well what are they doing. So this escalation in Middle East, they have two purposes. To fight China and regime change in Iran. Why to fight China? Because China is a major competitor of the United States of America. Chinese are making Americans, especially America, sleepless. So the only way is to capture these small countries that are supplying resources to China. And that's why they have already created these narratives that China is supporting terrorist group in Nigeria. What does that mean? Nigeria don't do business with China. China is supporting terrorist groups. Nigeria don't supply oil or any goods to China. China is an evil. That's what they're doing. Then Iran is supporting terrorist groups. Iran, they have to kneel down. They want someone who will hear them, whom they will control, whom when they tell them that do this, they will do. Then after US captured Maduro, they cut off the supply of oil from Venezuela to China. And you saw ships being detained, being captured by the US, saying that this is oil that is under embargo, something like that. So right now, they see that Russia I'm sorry, not Russia, Iran is continuing to supply oil to China at low cost. And China is the main competitor of America. So they create their narratives, whatever they know, and starting attacking Iran. Then this time it means Iran cannot supply oil to China. And that's why you have seen China has done, before the starting of the war, China sent air defense systems and other weapons to Iran. It is not about support, it's about business. China understood very well that if America will succeed to capture Iran, it means China is going to collapse. And that's how US is doing. US understood very well that by this time it is difficult to fight China. If you fight China right now, it means you are going to cause world war. Because China has ballistic missile, has nuclear power. So China is not a small country, is a powerful country. So the only way to fight China is to cut the supply of resources. And the US understood very well that the population of China is high, 1.4 billion people. So if you cut supply of resources, so in the near future, people will start protesting. People will start asking for regime change because people want good life. So US is fighting China smoothly, in silent ways. We may see what is happening in Iran, like it is about, of course, it is about Israel safety, the safety of Israel. But behind, you know why US is involved in that conflict? That is about Israel and Iran. But US is involving because of China. US is not fighting Russia right now. US is fighting China. Because China is growing very fast economically, and Chinese is challenging US in almost every sector. So what US want to do, as I said, is to cut the supply of oil so that industries in China have to collapse. Industries in China have to collapse. So it is not live war, it is economic war. And if Chinese industries will collapse, US industries will grow. Because already right now, US has control of Venezuelan oil. Russia has enough oil. Russia does not need external oil. Russia has its own oil. But China has depending on Venezuela, on Iran, and other countries. So China is the target. China is the target. And that's why you see Chinese have supported Iran accordingly.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.